YouTube is happening. It is Monday, March 31st, and we're going to talk about the MLB. We have 14 games on the slate today. You can see before you, bunch of games. Talk about, so we got some day games on Monday. Look at that, Monday day games. Love that. So we're going to talk about these right now. We do a little recap of yesterday. Not the best day you're going to have, though, especially at the start of the season. We have no data. We're basically just going off of last year's stats. Until we get some this year data, it's going to be a little, you got to be cautious. So if you want to hold off for a few days before you try to jump into things, probably makes sense. I'm not. I'm a little more out there. So I got Toronto and San Fran right. Then the weather delays kind of messed a couple things up. Obear got absolutely rocked. Yeah, he had 3Ks and then next thing you know, hit 8 earned runs. Okay. So, yeah, in Atlanta, what is wrong with the Braves? The Braves couldn't score. The Braves are terrible. There are 4 teams that don't have a win yet. They're one of them. So, enough of that. If you want the plays typed out or access to the spreadsheets when they're ready, they'll be ready soon. Once we hit 5 and 10 games, we'll be good. So, you can join the HQ. So, enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump to the first game right now. All right, looks like we got a couple games starting at 2:10. First game's going to be Twins and White Sox. It is the Twins 184 on the money line with a 7.5 total. Let's go ahead and bounce over here to the props because we're going to look at the pitchers first and we're going to look at their history and all that fun stuff. So let's start with Chris Paddock, and we're going to bring him up. And it's Chris Paddock versus Martin Perez. Believe he was with the Pirates last year. We'll see. Perez was 5-6 last year with a 4.53 ERA. We see the Twins versus the lefties last year. This is how they did. Not the best. There's nothing that really There's a 3.12 for Carlos, but other than that, no one else did good. Everybody else is kind of red, mid to low twos, even ones, not the best. Against Martin in his career, 1 for 4 with a home run for Jeffers. You got 286, 333 for Carlos. Some success, not much. 2 home runs for Carlos of the 12 at bats. That's not bad. Miranda has 2 home runs and 8 at bats. So his 2 times he hit the ball, it went out the park. So you got those. Let's swap over to the other side, which is going to go to Paddock versus the White Sox. Paddock is 5-3, 4.99 last year. History, he has won 5 in 12 innings versus them. So White Sox versus righties, you can see how they did. They're going to be middle twos all year until they update this, because this is 2024. Soon they'll update it to 2025 once they get enough stats. See, they do the same thing I do. We're trying to get stats built up for our system so we can show things. But for now, they're going to show 2024. So you can see the numbers against Paddock. Mainly, that's what we care about. How they done historically versus pitcher, because some dudes love certain pitchers. We know this. So 0-2, 0-4, 0-5, 0-3. 2 for 3, so nothing great here. Let's go with props, because so far I'm not liking any of the hitters. Let's see if we like any of the bats or any numbers like that. So earned runs for Paddock, you can see what he's done. Historically, yeah, he had a 0 and a 2, not the best. Strikeouts, last 10 games, that's what he has been up to. Not the best again. I am not liking this for him at all. Hits allowed 4.5. Again, we gotta trust Chicago. I'm not trusting the White Sox. They may have won a game, but good congrats. I'm not taking it. So, and we go to the other side, which is Martin. Strikeouts, he is at 3.5, and he's kind of all over the place at the end. Head to head, he hasn't hit against Minnesota. Earned runs, last 10 or 5. Yeah, his last time out, he gave up 6-1. He was with San Diego. That's right. He was with Pittsburgh at one point, right? Yeah. He was with Pittsburgh, and then he got traded. That's right. I forgot he got traded to San Diego. Forgot all about that. And now he's with another team, man. Baseball players move around way too much. So you can see that. And now hits. Yeah, I don't like anything in this game personally. So what's the total? Minnesota on the road? I don't, no. Not trusting that. No, we are going to avoid road favorites for a minute until we get some more data. So for now, pass and move on to the next game. All right, game 2 is going to be KC and Milwaukee. Up here, you can see currently it is basically a pick 'em with the lean of Milwaukee 115. 8.5 is our total. Let's go over to the pitchers. Welp, we ain't got any. We got pitchers, but there's literally no props. That's always fun. So let's go ahead and I'll show you the schedule so you can see the pitchers. We're going to have Chris Bubik and Edwin Rodriguez. So yeah. Enjoy that. I have no props. We're not taking anything with the bats yet until we see the stuff. I can't trust the side. So until I have more stats, this is just a pass. 2 brand new pitchers can't do. No, not for me. Nope. Next. All right, game 3 is Boston and Baltimore. Maybe we can get something here. Baltimore 142 at home with a 9.5 total. 9.5. Wow. Let's look over the pitchers now. This one we only have Povich up here. We also have. We come over to the schedule. I can show you. We have Sean Newcomb going out there. So yeah, no stats on him obviously, but we have Povich, so we can look at that at least. Better than nothing, right? Exactly. And all we have are strikeouts. Come on, Elm. What are we doing with these props? Give me some good. Like, this dude's not a new guy. Like, all we have are strikeouts. Like, come on. He was 3-9 last year with a 5.2 ERA. Not good. We can see how Boston did against lefties. You can see how they did, and they were 311, 302, and then a bunch of just, and then 302 down here. Everybody else is kind of the twos or ones, so nothing out there. Against Povich, historically, you can see how he's done. We got a home run here. We got a, yeah, not much history. This is the only one. He's 3 for 5 with a home run with a 2.0. So, but that, no. No, I'm not trusting Boston today. I'm going to tell you right now. If anything, I'm taking Baltimore the way Boston's been playing. Just saying. Let's go ahead and head over to the props. What we have: strikeouts, 5.1 was his average last 10. Whole season, he averaged 4.3. So you can see he popped off a little bit at the end of the season. I mean, Boston is one of the top strikeout teams from last year. I think they're probably still doing it this year. What's Boston's record looking like right now? 1-3? Yep. Sure is. All right. So what's his number? 4.5? You know what? I'm going to take it. Boston was one of the ones you could take strikeout pitch from damn near anybody. It was going to be close if it didn't hit. So I'm going to take Povich over 4.5 Ks on this one. I also lean Baltimore on the money line just because the way Boston's been playing. Baltimore's 2-2 with that Toronto series. So we'll see. Boston had to travel. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take Povich over 4.5 strikeouts next. All right, next up we got Colorado at Philadelphia. Currently it's Philly 250. Now, once we start getting over 200, that becomes, whew. Philly is 2-1. Yeah, and Colorado's 1-2. 8-5 is our total. Let's go ahead and look over the potential pitchers we got. Put it on the right game. That would help. Bang, bang. Look at that. We actually have pitchers. Oh, look who's back. All right. He didn't pitch much at all. He pitched like 1 or 2 games last year. And Christopher, let's start with Christopher. I'll start with German. Okay. He pitched in literally 1 game. I thought it was more than 1. So it's just 1 on 7-14. You can see how he did. Let's just go straight into the matchup, actually. Let's do that a little bit better. Flop these two over. Jeremy was, he had a 6.75 in the 4 innings he pitched last year. He pitched that 1 game. Let's see how Phillies faced righties last year. This is how they did overall. You can see the numbers against him. Historically, they like facing him. I mean, a lot. I mean, where do we start? Schwarber is a 5.45 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs and 11 at-bats. Realmuto is 3.75. Bohm is 6.25 and 8 at-bats, 3.85 against Harper. I mean, pick your poison. That's why Philly's 250. That's why. I mean, jeez. Let's flip. Let's go to the other side, see how they do now. Sanchez, 11-9 with a 3.32. You can see how Colorado faces against lefties. You can see a lot of 2s. Nothing impressive. There's no 3s up here, so none of that. Against Sanchez, you can see we got a 3.75 for Tovar. And then we got a bunch of, it's basically 1 a game, maybe 2. Farmer's got 167, but he has a home run. He got 1. But yeah, nothing compares to what we just saw on the other flip side. So yeah. Yeah, which are earned runs allowed? What's the number we're looking at here? Can't nothing but that. Wow. Over 2.5 is -125. I think I might go with that. I'm just telling you, I think I might go with that. Hits, the earned runs, hits. Yeah, I'm not taking any of that. We're going straight up, Durham. Yeah, because 1, he only pitched 4 innings last season, so it's been a minute since he actually pitched a full game, like start to finish. And because 4 innings are more like a, hey, come on, get you 1 game in, see what happens. Let's put you in this. So we're going Marquez over 2.5 earned runs, just because of how Philly has done historically against him, and Philly is at home. So I do like Philly money line too. I might put them in a parlay later. We'll see how it goes. Next. All right, next up we're going to the Mets and Marlins up next. Let me see what the record is real quick. Mets, Marlins. 1-2 for the Mets, 3-1 for Miami. And we can see currently it is Mets 185, 8.5 is your total. We pop over here to the props. Could we actually, we should. Yep, we have pitchers. We have Cal Quantrill for the Marlins. Didn't know he was in Miami now. And Peterson with New York. Let's load these two up. Let's pull up and let's see. Let's start with Quantrill. He was 8-11 last year with a 4.97 ERA. You can see how the Mets do against righties overall. You can see the numbers there. Against Quantrill historically, 1 for 3 with a home run, 1 for 3, nothing. 0 for 1 for 8. 2 for 2. Over nothing really stands out here for this one. Let's swap sides, swap it around. Peterson 10-3 with a 2.9. Dude was balling out last year, like one of the most quiet pitchers balling out. No one really talked about. Historically, Miami versus lefties, not good. 111, 211, 0, 0, 230, 300 for Xavier because he's just good against everybody. Everybody else is kind of, we got a couple 3s now. Hill, Conan, okay. Peterson, Fortes, 250, no home runs, 3.3, 6.7. A lot of nothing going on here. So, looking at this, Quantrill hits allowed over 3.5. He gave up an average of 5.7 in his last games. Given I know the dude was in Colorado, but you still got to be able to hit the ball. Colorado helps get the ball out of the park, not keeping it in the park and getting lots of singles. He gives up hits regardless. So let's see. All last season, he averaged 5.3. You telling me he's going to go out of Colorado and go to Miami all of a sudden be good? Nah, he had one game where he gave up 2. Everything else was at least 3. We're at a 3.5 already against a team like the Mets. Yeah, give me this. Give me this. I will fade this. I'm sorry. I'm taking it. Quantrill over 3.5 hits allowed, unless they have him on a super short leash. I don't care. I don't care. Strikeouts, you can see what he did all season. Earned runs. You could take earned runs, but I'm just going to say straight up hits. Give me 4 hits. You've been doing this. You can give me hits, I'm sure. Let's look at the other side, too. Let's look at David Peterson. Dude was pretty good last year. We'll see. Strikeouts, earned runs. Yeah, he was hit and miss. Not bad. Can't complain. 2, I mean, that's average. He only went over 2 4 times all season last year. He averaged 1.8 earned runs allowed per game. Pretty good. So you could take the Mets money line at 185. I'm going to take Cal over 3.5 hits for 165. Yeah, we'll trust that. Hell, I'll probably put the Mets in the money line parlay too, because of the way the pitcher is, Cal's thing. We'll take that next. All right, next up, we're going to do Texas and Cincinnati, and we can see currently is a pick 'em basically 118 to Texas. 9 is our total. A nice even 9. That's weird. All right, cool, whatever. Let's look at the props. We have Brady Singer, a member of the Reds. See, somebody just, man, it feels weird. Rocker's pitching. That's a fun one. Rocker came in a couple games last year. So Singer, man, dude gives up a lot of hits, doesn't he? We'll get in that in a second. Let's look a little closer. Singer was 9-13 last year, 3.71. He does have a 1.64 with 11 innings against Texas. So he does pretty well against Texas, apparently. Let's look how Texas does against righties. There you go. There's all their stats from last season. Against Singer, historically, we can see, 3 for 10. He's given up 1 home run to him with a 1 for 2. We got a 0 for 5, 0 for 3, 0 for 2, 1 for 6, 4 for 12. Yeah, nothing's too crazy. Nothing that much. Okay. And let's go and swap to the other side from Singer. Let's go over here to Rocker. 0-2, 3.86 with 11.2 innings last year. Obviously, he came back after recovery, and you can see how he did. Cincy versus righties, they like righties. You can see how they do on the numbers. Everything's 2. There's a 3 there, but not many at bats. So against Rocker, no history. Obviously, he's new. So let's pop to the numbers. Singer average last season. Man, he got worse as the season went on, didn't he? Look at the numbers just start piling up here. 5.4 hits allowed per game on the average. Last 10, he was at 6.6 hits allowed per game. Just ridiculous. We're at 4.5 now. We could take this. We could take this. Earned runs, he was sitting at 3.4. We're at a 2.5 here. Let's see. The strikeouts, 6.5 on a 4.5. 5.5 on a 4.5. Yeah. Rocker. Let's look at Rocker real quick. He only pitched in 3 games, so not much data to look at. We have strikeouts. His main thing is probably going to be strikeouts. 7, 5, and 2? And 2 is against Oakland? That's it? You only struck out 2 against Oakland, huh? Man. How many innings did you pitch? 4.2 innings, and you only struck out 2. I mean, Oakland wasn't not really bad last year. Let's see. Earned runs, walks, hits. For him, strikeouts 4.5 against a team like Cincinnati. Cincinnati's kind of in the middle. I think they're more closer. Last year, they were in the bottom when it came, not like Boston bad when it came to strikeouts, but they weren't like in the top like San Diego. So we could take Rocker to get 5 strikeouts. That was Seattle. Seattle's one of the teams in the bottom 5 usually. Toronto's usually mid. Oakland's one of those teams. They're all over the place. They go up and down. So I can trust this, but I trust Singer hits too because now it's 5.5. What the hell? Why'd you move the line? Why? It moved. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna go Rocker. I want to take a strikeout prop. We're gonna take Rocker and have fun with it. Rocker over 4.5 Ks. I think he can do a lot. He might be a fun one to watch this year to see how many he actually ends up with in the end of the year because Duke can pitch. We know this. So we'll take that next. Next up, we got Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh's 1-3, Tampa's 2-1. 185 for Tampa with an over-under of 8. Let's go over here to the pitch props. Let's take a look and see Rasmussen versus Carmen Molodzinski. I butchered that last name, but don't care. Whatever. Let's see. Let's look at the matchups. Rasmussen was 0-2 last year with a 2.83. Let's come down and look at Pittsburgh bats against righties. They have good averages compared to their season average, but nothing's really jumping out here saying, wow, that's amazing against Rasmussen. Historically, we have a 5 for 10 for Frazier with 1.11 OPS. Not bad. Everything else is kind of but that's not bad. 10 at bats, 5 for 10. We could take him to get a hit. I wouldn't be against that. That's not bad. Let's flop. Let's go to the other side. Then we got Molzinski, 5-5 and a 3.38 last year. Let's see against righties. Let's see how he's done. This is how Tampa does against righties. Against him, you can see not much. There's no stats. There's no stats really. So let's look at their stuff. Strikeouts. I gotta come down because of this injury news. I can't get rid of it. I get it. We know he's out. I understand. Dude doesn't get many strikeouts. How many innings did he pitch? 2-2-2. So we're doing a bullpen game already, huh? Already we're jumping in this nonsense. Bullpen time. Cool, whatever. And we'll come over here. We got Molzinski. And yeah, we have 2024. He had 4 total games, and he pitched a whopping. Yeah, this game is going to be absolute garbage. I'm sorry. I can't do just straight bullpens. I can't. I'm not doing it. If anybody does a straight bullpen game this year, pass. Instantly pass on them. I'm just not playing it this year. Too much. You don't know what's going to happen after the second inning. You just don't know. And you got to trust these bullpens. We know these bullpens ain't good. Did you watch last year? Yeah, no, pass. Next. Next is Washington, Toronto. We got for lines 160 Toronto, 8 is our total. Toronto's 2-2, Washington's 1-2. Got any pitchers? Let's look. We got Bowden Francis and we got Michael Soroka. Okay, whatever. Francis, we know is a starter. I need to start checking this for every person now, apparently. Because, man, we're getting to the point where we're about to start having relievers, little bullpen games going out there. He was 8-5 with a 3.3 with 103 innings. Obviously, a starter. Against righties, we see how Washington did last year. You see all their numbers, pretty decent. Not bad. Call it 368. Damn call. That's pretty good. Against Francis, not much. Not much data. 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 1 for 5, 1 for 2. So nothing there for us. Flop to the other side. We got Soroka, 0-10. 4.75 and 79 innings. Bro, that was not good. What? Yeah, but yeah, you were decent against Toronto in your history. So this is how Toronto hits righties. Very damn well, as you can see. Pretty good. Against Soroka, historically, 2 for 5, nothing. One was it 2 for 7 for a home run, whatever that math comes out to, then a bunch of zeros. So let's look at the numbers. We're probably taking Toronto money line. They're at home 2 against Washington. I'm sorry, that's what we're probably going with. Strikeout wise, you can see this. How do you do 2024? Average 5.6 on a 4.5. Could take that. Earn runs, he was pretty damn good at the end. I still like Toronto better overall as a money line. Let's flop over to the other side. Soroka, how many innings did you pitch? 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, I think, let's just keep it simple here. We're going Toronto at home on the money line against Washington, and then we're just going to move on to the next one. All right, next up is Angels and St. Louis, the Cardinals. One of the 4 undefeated teams. Cardinals are 3-0. Angels are 2-1, though. Not bad. Of course, they did play the White Sox, so hey, whatever. Let's see, 135 for St. Louis with an 8 is our total. Let's go to the pitchers. Who do we have today? Mikolas against Tyler Anderson. That's a fun little matchup. Let's dig into that one, shall we? Mikolas 10-11 with a 5.35, 171 innings last year. We can see this is how LA hit righties last year. Yeah, Trout only had 96 at bats. It feels like he had way less than that. I don't even remember him playing last year. So very early in the season, you see the numbers. I get history against this dude. We got a 2-7 for a 286. We got a 1-5, an over 6, and over 2, something in 19 to make it where it's 158. 0-2, literally like 2-16, just not good. They don't do good against this dude, apparently. Let's flop it up to the other side. What we got? Anderson, Mr. Anderson, 10-15, 381. We can see how St. Louis hit lefties. You can see the numbers. St. Louis, not the best. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not the best either. Against Anderson, 0 for 4, 263 for Contreras with a home run and 3 RBIs and 19 at bats, and then an 0 for 1. So nothing's really standing out for this one. Let's look at the props themselves. Mikolas earned runs at 1.5. You can see his last 10 games, he got rocked a lot, but I don't have a head-to-head at all. So okay, that's fine. Whatever, don't care. Whole season, you see like that 1.5. Are you expecting him not to pitch many innings? I mean, he pitches a bunch of innings. Is that what we're expecting, or are we expecting St. Louis to be that damn good, or he's supposed to be that damn good? I don't like either one. So let's see. Last 10 strikeouts, 4.5. I think they're expecting him to be that good. That's what we're looking at here. So hits allowed. Yeah, you can take that. Tyler Anderson, earned runs. You can see that. I have no head-to-head again. Strikeouts, hits. If I, okay, I lean Mikolas over, but I'm not going to touch anything here. So we're just going to take the pass. I'm not feeling this one. No, 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 no. Next. All right, next up we got San Fran and Houston. That's a fun little series. San Fran 2-1, Houston 2-1. Looks like we got 122 for Houston with an 8 is our total. Let's pop over to the pitchers. Blanco and Hicks are going up against each other. Nice little matchup. Blanco, let's start with the full-on matchup. Blanco was 13-6 last season, 2.8 ERA over 167 innings. We can see how San Fran hits the righties. We know they love lefties. That's a fact. But I mean, you can see that done better against lefties. They prefer left. Against Blanco, historically, we can see Bailey is 1 for 3, 0 for 5, 1 for 1. You can see these numbers are not good. Nothing stands out. Now, he hasn't even given up an RBI to him, much less a home run. So Blanco's done pretty well. Sanford doesn't really do well against righties. They prefer lefties. I'm already leaning Houston, but let's go ahead and check the other side of it just to make sure. Hicks, 4-7 with a 4.10 ERA over 110 innings. We see Houston versus righties. With the current team they have, you can see 297, 270, 260. Not bad numbers. Middle twos where you want to be. 280, 270. You can work with that. Against Hicks historically, over 3, over 1, over 3, over 1, over 3. It's a pattern. We got a home run here for Walker. Walker got 1 off him. So 2 for 4, over 2, 2 for 2. All we have is 1 home run, 1 RBI here, and now Altuve has an RBI. So not much. Hell, if anything, I'm going to take the under. So what's the total? 8? I might take an under. That might be a play. Let's look a little closer, shall we? Let's go with strikeouts 2024 whole season. Let's see. He averaged 5.5, and that's his number, 5.5. Last 10 games, he averaged 5.6. Again, it's 5.5. Not loving that. 4.3 and a 4.5. Hicks, strikeouts 5 on a 3.5. The whole season, he averaged 4.5. Houston's a pretty good team at not striking out. Well, the last year team was pretty good at not striking out. This seems a little different. So hits, man, earned runs. He got rocked at the end of the season. He was getting hit up pretty good. He started off great, and you see how he just got worse as the season went on. So I think I am going to take. Oh man, I think I'm going to still. I can't trust Hicks and I can't trust Houston. Let's be smart. You know what? Let's be smart. Pass. If you're not confident in something, pass on it. Next. All right, next up, we got Cleveland and San Diego. Let's look at the records real quick for them. It is 2-1 Cleveland, 4-0 San Diego, the second winningest team behind the Dodgers, who's 5-0. Let's see. It is San Diego 130 with a 8 as our total. Let's go over to the props. Who we got pitching today? Bring the right game up. That might help. Scroll down. See, Guardians. Yep. Got him. All we have is Luis L. Ortiz, who was with Pittsburgh last year. I know he was. Let's see. Now he's with Cleveland, and are they having him start as like a full-time starter is the question. That makes me, I don't know. Because Ortiz started off as like bullpen, then he slowly moved into starter last year role with Pittsburgh. So we'll see. Let's dig a little bit deeper into it. Cleveland versus this. Ortiz, he's 7-6, 3-2, 135 innings. He could have had way more, but he was like a long reliever. Then they made him starting. So, yeah, whatever. Let's see. San Diego versus righties. They love their righties. You can see, obviously, nothing new. You see that a lot. Because I call this man LL Cool J all the time last year. LL Ortiz. How have they done against him? Well, 1 for 3, 1 for 2. 556. That's good. Of course, it's a Louis. Obviously, Duke gets on base against everybody. 143, 286. Not many home runs, just 1 for Machado. Other than that, nothing's really standing out. So let's flop to the other side. We have K Hart, whoever that is. No stats. Welcome to the show, my man. You have no stats. Good luck. So, San Diego's sending out a new pitcher with no stats from last year at all. Yeah, I don't be honest, I don't love that. Strikeouts for Ortiz. He was pretty good at strikeouts when he did it. So head to head, he did face San Diego twice last year. Now, if there's one thing you need to learn, this was the example. I don't know who's going to be this year, but last year you did not take strikeout props against San Diego or Cleveland. Neither one. They were always hovering at 1 and 2 and getting about 4 strikeouts a game for the batters. That was it. They're really disciplined. So I wouldn't touch strikeout props in this game for either pitcher. You can see this. If anything, let's be smart. Let's be smart. Pass. And someone's going to be like, why are you passing all the games? Because we don't know anything yet. It's 15 games a day, every day for like the next like 7 months. You'll be good. Be smart with your picks. Next. All right, next up, we're going to have Detroit and Seattle. Let me look at the record real quick. Detroit is 0-3. They are struggling. Seattle is 2-2. We're getting close to the 5 and 10 game window. Get some stats. We got Seattle 120 with a 7.5 total. Let's look at the pitchers. We got Emerson Hancock, and that's all we have. So we don't know who's going to be out there. Let's go with the matchups. Emerson was 4-4 with a 4.75 with only 60 innings last year. So Detroit versus Rockies last year was not the best. Carpenter was 300. Nobody else was even close. I remember that clearly. Against Emerson, 0 bats for anybody on the team. We flopped to the other side. Who were they sending out? Can we see? Detroit is sending out Job. He had 4 innings last year. That's it. So but we can see how Seattle was against the Rockies. You can see that number 2. So nothing. Robles is 343 and 146. Not bad at all. This game is in Seattle. Detroit seems to be struggling against Job. Again, no data. So if we're taking something, I would lean Seattle, but I mean, I'm not trusting Emerson. Look at these stats. 2024, you see all the games. He never got above 4, but yeah, now his strikeouts 4.5. Come on, I'm not touching that. Earned runs, no, not against Detroit's offense. Hits, no. Again, nothing. We need more data from these people. We're being smart today. We're taking this week. We're going to be very intelligent. We're going to be smart. We're passing. Next. All right, next up, we got the Cubbies and we got the Athletics. It is 126 for the Cubs, 8.5 is our total. What's the record? Let me make sure I got the records up. Looks like the Cubs are currently, they have played the most games. They're 2-4. They play 6 games. The Athletics are 2-2, 500. Not bad. Look at them go. Pitchers. Let's get a little close. Estes is going out there versus Ben Brown. This should be an interesting one. I might take the Athletics. Just saying. Let's look at the matchups. Estes 79 with a 5 ERA, 127 innings last year. We can see how the Cubs do against righties. Pretty average. Nothing really stands out on this list here except for Tucker at 305. Against Estes historically, not many. This is all one game. You can tell that was a home run for Swanson. You can see how everything's 1 or 2 at bats. Nothing new. Let's swap it over to Cubs versus Athletics. 1-3, 3.58 last year for Ben Brown. No stats historically against them, but we can see how they do versus righties overall. Not the best either. So if anything, I would probably lean Chicago here just because of the information, the numbers, and everything. Let's look at the stats. As his hits allowed, he does allow a lot of hits occasionally. 2024, yeah, he had games he popped off against the Cubs, but the one time he faced him, he gave up 9 hits. So yeah, we're going to take the Cubs. Cubs money line is -126. That's better than the juice here. So yeah, strikeouts not his thing. Let's pop over here to Ben Brown. Earned runs. He did not face the A's. Nothing new. Strikeouts. Yeah, we're going straight up Chicago. CHC ML is on the list next. And the last game is Braves and Dodgers. On paper, it sounds fun, but the Braves are 0-4. They are struggling. Dodgers 5-0. We can see it is 220 for the Dodgers with 8 is our total. Let's pop over to the pitchers. Glass now is going out there versus Grant Holmes. Glass now, let's just go deep into it. Glass now 9-6, 3.49 last year. Braves versus righties, you can see how they did last year. Numbers they were about average, so there's nothing really truly standing out. Ozuna was 297, nobody in the 300s against Glass. Now, historically, not good. A lot of red. 0 for 5, 0 for 3, 1 for 7, 1 for 9, 1 for 5, 0 for 8 for Albies, 1 for 8 for Ozuna. Not good. Glass now has pretty much owned them outside of a couple. They had, 2 for 6, 2 for 4, 1 for 3. That's it. Let's swap sides, go to the other one. We got Holmes, 2-1, 3.56, only 68 innings. Let's look at how the Dodgers have done against righties. This is the numbers for the Dodgers. Here's the numbers against Grant Holmes. Not much information, obviously, so go up here. I mean, I did say I'd probably take Dodgers -1.5 every day for a while to see what happens. I probably feel good doing this. It's -105. It might be the play because who's going to beat? They have so much talent, and the Braves are not playing well. And then it's in LA. Yeah, let's stop wasting time here. Let's just go and do that. We're going to do LAD 1.5 until somebody can show they can keep it close. I'm taking Dodgers. We're going to end it there. So we skipped on a bunch of games, which is going to happen this week, just so you know, which you probably should do. Until we get more stats, we can actually put our spreadsheet together. We're going to have to be a little more selective. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays, which actually isn't bad. Not bad at all. So tomorrow is Tuesday. Every day in baseball, we have about 14 or 15 games. That's the usual, so nothing new. Very rarely, like a Thursday, we'll have like 7 or 8 games because Thursdays and Mondays are typically your travel days. So if you're new to baseball, there you go. So I will be back tomorrow. Drop a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you're going to take. If you want the plays typed out or access to the spreadsheet for all the sports, go check out the HQ. But other than that, I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more MLB.